Okay, think we are live now. Hopefully, anyone watching can see and hear me. We've gone with the headset mic today because it being Scotland, it's raining again, and my wee home office is a conservatory. So whenever it rains, all you can hear is rat tat 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 on the roof. So I'm going with the headset mic today. Um, let's see who we've got. We've got Wilkie's Movies and Music. How we doing? Thanks very much for tuning in. Maybe you can let me know, mate. Can you see and hear me okay? Is everything looking and sounding as it should? There we go. Thanks, Wilkie. Right. So the purpose for today's live stream really was just to. I did this last month, kind of off the cuff, just on a whim, and I went through pretty much everything that I'd watched in January because I'd only just discovered like late last year, or maybe halfway through last year. I'd only just discovered the Letterboxd app, which lets you keep track of everything everything that you've watched. So I thought let's try that again. Let's go through and see what we've been watching. So as I'm going through this, if any of these match up with what you've watched, let me know in the comments what you thought of them. But yeah, let's just. Oh, I think there's a. Yep, thanks very much, Wilkie. You can see and hear me okay. That's brilliant. Good to know. Thank you very much, my friend. Right, so let's get cracking with it. So the first movie that I watched in February was Argyle. Uh, I did a full review of Argyle. It's on the channel. If you scroll back, you can watch that. I'll link to it in the description as well. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of Argyle. I have to say, as much as I'm a fan of pretty much everyone involved, I've liked most of Matthew Vaughn's movies. I'm a big fan of Henry Cavill, Sam Rockwell, Blythe, Bryce, Bryce Dallas Howard. Anyway, the whoever Ron Howard's daughter. Uh, Big fan of everyone involved, but it just didn't land for me. I think one of the things I'd mentioned in my review for it was it felt like it had been like neutered and tamed down to be like a PG-13, well 12A here in the UK. It just felt like it had been neutered down to get that rating. Like all of the kind of like comedic violence, for lack of a better phrase, that was like prevalent and used to good effect and like Kick Ass and movies like that just felt quite restrained here. So yeah, wasn't a huge fan of that. Um, yeah, through the lens. Sorry, I don't know your. It's not great, to be honest, mate. I don't think I'm alone in saying that Argyle wasn't fabulous. Um, there's some good moments in it. There's quite a funny dance fight scene towards the end, and while it is quite funny, it's kind of a rip off of a fight scene in the first Transporter movie. I won't go into too much detail on that, but yeah, that was it wasn't great. It wasn't great. So Argyle saw that on what's the date here? 2nd of February, I think that's the day it came out. The day after that, I watched Gladiator. I had just got the Titans of Cult steelbook, which I should have probably brought that in. That would have been handy to have, but I don't have it here. Yeah, so we watched the Gladiator Titans of Cult 4K disc, and it's just such a good movie. It just holds up so well. Um, like everything about it is almost perfect. It's I think it's probably a solid 9 out of 10 for that movie. Um, it's we put the disc in, and we're getting stuff ready, getting movie snacks and everything, and so the main menu on the disc is just playing along, and Hans Zimmer score is playing along, and I can feel myself tearing up just hearing the score. It's that impactful. Um, yeah, well, yeah, the Gladiator set is very awesome, mate. Yeah, it's a few people weren't too keen on it. Like it's for the Titans of Cult guys, they did take a bit of a price jump in what they were charging for it. It is a more premium product than the previous dozen or 18 or whatever it was Titans of Cult uh, home media releases. The ones with the plastic cases and whatnot. So the Gladiator one is a bit of a step up in quality, but it's also a step up in price. And interestingly, they had uh, two different sets. There's like £100 set that came with like a tin poster. I think. I didn't quite splurge on that. I got the £50 set. I think it was. But yeah, it was good. So Gladiator, 24 years old, which is mental to think that it's 24 years old. Still holds up. It's still great. Um, Victoria Goldie, she loved Argyle. Well, it's not everyone's cup of tea. I'm glad some people liked it. Maybe you can let us know what you liked about it. Maybe it was just the company that you had when you were watching that you liked. Maybe not. Gareth, how are we doing, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, so that was the second movie in February that I watched. Next day, took the kids to see Migration. Uh, I had no prior knowledge about this movie whatsoever. The kids had saw the trailer for it. I think when we went to see Wonka, and they said, "Can we go and see that? Can we go and see that? Can we go and see that? Can we go and see that?" So happened to have the kids that day. I think it was a Friday afternoon, the day it came out. We just after school, we went to see it, and it was actually surprisingly pretty good. There's some talented people in it: Camille Nanjiani, Elizabeth Banks. They play the two leads in it. So I went into this expecting nothing, and it was actually, like I said, it was surprisingly quite good. I really actually did enjoy it. Um, Keegan Michael Key has a bit of an extended cameo in it as well. Danny DeVito's there. He's a bit of he's in the whole movie, but it's almost unnecessarily so. Aquafina has got a bit of an extended cameo in it as well. So for a random kids movie that's not based on it's not a sequel, it's not based on a franchise or anything. Uh, yeah, that was really quite good. Let's see what else. So after Migration, I put Reacher in here because I think that's when I'd just finished um, the uh, the Reacher season two series, and yep, that was pretty good. Um, didn't quite reach the heights of the first season, I don't think, but it was still pretty decent. The guy, what's his name? Alan Richardson. Um, yeah, he's it's almost like he's born to play that role. He certainly filled out that role very well. So that was handy. Not handy, but that was a good one to watch as well. I did enjoy that. Like I said, it didn't quite reach the heights of the first season. I've not read any of the books, but it felt like an odd move to. I don't think this is getting any spoiler territory, but it felt like an odd move to bring in like the team to surround him this quickly into the show, like into season two, just to have the team there with him instead of him just being like a lone wolf, like the solo guy. But it was still pretty good. It was still pretty good. Um, and then a couple of days later, we watched Expendables or Expendables, um, because I didn't get to see that in the cinema when it came out, and yeah, this is bad. Expendables 4 is bad. It's not the worst movie of the year yet. We'll get to that, but it's probably a comfortable second worst movie of the year so far. Yeah, Expendables 4 is just it's not great. It's not great. The What they've managed to do to that franchise from like the amazing first one to the kind of so-so second one, and then they brought it back. I thought with the third one, and then X amount of years later they bring out a part four, and it's just pretty crap. So yeah, if you've not seen Expendables 4 and you like the memory of the other Expendables movies, just pretend Expendables 4 doesn't exist because it's not great. Let's see what's next. After Expendables, this is an interesting one. I'm not even sure if this got a cinema release in the UK last year. I ended up finding it on streaming somewhere. Uh, Hypnotic, directed by Robert Rodriguez and starring Ben Affleck. Wanted to like this one a lot more than I did. You know, I've been a big fan of Robert Rodriguez. Most of his films, Ben Affleck's usually a solid choice. Um, but this one just felt a bit off. There's an interesting twist, about two-thirds of the way through that actually saves it from being a pretty bad movie. But something about it just felt quite cheap. Like it felt like I don't know, like a really high-end student film almost. But talented people involved, but it just didn't quite land for me. But again, there is a pretty interesting twist about two-thirds of the way through. So that's Hypnotic by Robert Rodriguez, and then something I'd been wanting to watch for a long time is the RoboCop documentary, RoboDoc, the creation of RoboCop. It's a four-part uh, docu series. I think each episode or each part is about an hour or an hour and 10 minutes long. So it's not short. It goes into a deep dive uh, on the making of RoboCop. So if you're a fan of RoboCop and you've not checked this out, it's definitely worth checking out. It's I got it on. It is available on Blu-ray. You can buy it from Amazon. I think HMV and Zavi. There's a steelbook in the USA that I'm hoping to get my hands on as well. But I actually watched this on YouTube Movies. I had some Google vouchers to spend, so I bought it on that. And it's, as I said, if you're a fan of RoboCop, it is pretty awesome. I think, what did I say here? Yeah, it's the only making of to come close to the bar set by the Lord of the Rings DVDs, 20 odd years ago. So yeah, if you're a fan of RoboCop, or even if you're a fan of making of documentaries that go, that are more than just 5 minutes long, they're randomly on YouTube or on the special features disc of a movie. This is this is really good. This is really good. Let's quickly check in with the comments here. Victoria Goldie, nothing can save Expendables 4, not even watching it with good company. Yeah, Expendables 4 is, yeah, it's just not great at all. We should probably just stop giving that any more airtime. Wilkie bought the Robocop, bought the RoboDoc, but still need to get to it. You've got the steelbook. You lucky so and so. Yeah, they never brought the steelbook out in the UK, and the eBay prices to get it imported are pretty steep right now. So it's one of those ones where I'll uh, I'll keep an eye on it and I'll pick it up. Eventually, if it comes out in the UK, or if it comes down in price on eBay. But I think, like, eBay prices in the UK to get a copy of the RoboCop documentary, something like £40 or something like that. So yeah, as good as it is, I'll wait until it drops a little bit. Right, let's move on. What did we watch next? Oh yeah, then I went to see The Iron Claw. This is an interesting one. It sits with you for a while. I didn't really I didn't do a review on it. I think I started to write the review, but just that weekend I just didn't have time to do a full on review. Hang on, let me fix this mic. I didn't have time to do a full on review of the Iron Claw. But yeah, it's good. I've been a bit of a casual pro wrestling fan for most of my life, so I was aware of the kind of the general story of the family that the Iron Claw talks about. It's the Von Erich family. Zac Efron stars as the kind of the main character. He's one of, I think, four or five or maybe even six brothers in this pro wrestling family. Um, it's a really good movie, really good performances. I won't Not really going to say anything more on that. If you've not seen the Iron Claw, like, don't read up on it or anything like that. Just check it out, and after you've watched it, you can do it. Go down the rabbit hole on Wikipedia, because as much as what they show in the movie is quite heartbreaking, like, they've actually toned down the real life story. The real life story is even more sad and heartbreaking than what they show in the movie. Um, but yeah, Zac Efron is really good in it. The guy from The Bear, Jeremy Allen White. I can't remember his name. The dude from The Bear. He's good in it. Um, Harris Dickinson, who I think I last saw him in Scrapper. There's a review of that on my channel as well. He's really good in it. Almost to the point where I don't think I realised that it was him until after the movie. And when I was like looking at the people and the actors and the filmmakers and the cast, and I recognised his name, and then I was like, that's the guy that was in Scrapper, who's I'm sure he's an English guy, like a lanky English guy, but in this he plays like a tall, lean American pro wrestler. So he totally transformed himself, as did Zac Efron. He got huge. Zac Efron in this looks like someone ate Zac Efron and was just like wearing his face inside a massive pro wrestler's body. Um, it's a shame that this movie didn't get more buzz in general, but also around awards season, because it definitely felt like it deserved than more recognition than it got. So Iron Claw, pretty good. I think I gave it 7 out of 10. I didn't do a don't think I did a video review for that, but it's definitely worth checking out. Um, After that, I think the same day that evening, we watched 28 Weeks Later. One of the kids, the oldest, is going through a bit of a zombie phase. She hadn't seen 28 Weeks Later. I think we'd watched the first one not that long ago, and then in the news, I think that week there was the chat about the fact that Danny Boyle and everyone was potentially coming back to make a 28 years later. Fingers crossed they still do that. Um, so yeah, it seemed like a no-brainer to watch that. Still holds up. It's still got like such a tense opening scene. Robert Carlyle is brilliant in it. It's got like a pre-famous Idris Elba, pre-famous uh, Rose Byrne, a pre-famous oh my god, what's his name? Hawkeye. What's his name? Jeremy Renner. So like lots of people who are much bigger stars now than they are when they made that movie. But yeah, 28 Weeks Later, good zombie movie. Let's see what else. I've got this marked down as the same day, so this was maybe a 3 movie day. We watched No One Will Save You, which is on Disney Plus. I think it came out at the tail end of last year. Had quite a bit of buzz around it, uh, so wanted to check that out. It's pretty decent. I think the hype it didn't quite live up to the hype that surrounded it when it was first released. But still, it's a relatively short, interesting movie. It's very much got like Signs vibes to it. But yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Well, I didn't do a review on it, but I'd maybe give it 6 out of 10. I think the folks in the family that watched it with me, I don't think they were as keen on it as I was. Won't go into too many spoiler territories, but there's a unique hook to the movie in terms of how it's made. That's I don't think has been done many times before. So it was interesting for that fact. I thought. Let's see what's next. And then this would have been the start of midterm or half term or whatever you call it. Basically, the kids had I think 3 or 4 days off school. Combine that with the weekend, and I think we had a run of about 5 days, where the kids were off school: Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I say we, I suggested we do like a movie marathon. Like what franchise did we all want to sit and watch? Because we can we've got a run of like 4 or 5 days where we can watch a series of movies. And Turtles was kind of, oh, I wouldn't quite say unanimously decided on, but Turtles was the one that the most agreed on. So started off with obviously the original and still best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's surprising how well it still holds up. It's pretty dark at times. Like I know the original Source comics were dark, but then like obviously the 80s and 90s cartoon, it's a kids cartoon. But yeah, the first Turtles movie from 1990, it still holds up. It's still quotable. Yeah, still enjoyable. Uh, After that, the next day I think we went to see Interstellar at IMAX. Hadn't seen Interstellar since it came out, I think, or at least since the Blu-ray came out. I hadn't watched it, so that's probably a good 8, maybe even longer years. but this was the first time I would have saw it in IMAX, and that was quite an experience. Watching Interstellar in IMAX. There was so the family of five went to see it. Myself, my partner, and three kids that we have between us, ages ranging from uh, 7, 10, and 13. Uh, wasn't quite sure how the kids would take to it because it's not that it's not appropriate for kids, but it deals with quite heavy themes. It's quite slow paced at times, um, but they all relatively liked it, and the 13-year-old was broken by it. She was in tears. I think just the kind of the raw emotion that comes out with that um, was quite endearing to see that something like a movie like Interstellar can connect with a 13-year-old as much as it can connect with a 40-ish year old. So that was quite nice to see. That was quite nice to see. Um, we went to see it Cineworld at that time. They weren't charging anything extra for the add-ons to go and see like IMAX or super screens or 4DX. So they weren't usually they charge an extra £2 or £3 I think for that, or maybe even more. But for that week, I'm assuming because it was half term, they didn't charge anything extra. So we took advantage of that and went to see Interstellar, and good time had by all. Let's see what's next. So that evening, we continued the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie marathon with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze. Uh, yeah, this one it's still got some good bits to it, but it's clearly a lower budget than the first one. Shall we say? It's the suits don't look as professional. Like they look more stretchy and rubbery. The whole way the movie's lit looks more like an episode of Power Rangers rather than the dark ishness of the first movie. So yeah, it looked less professional than the first movie, and I just kept thinking, you know, I like where the story went with it, even though they didn't use Bebop and Rocksteady. They used like lookalikes, but changed the names, something to do with rights issues, and because then they'd have to pay extra money to use them, something stupid like that. Um, but yeah, it's got its moments. Obviously, there's the Vanilla Ice Ninja Rap, which was literally singing in the car today with my 10-year-old because it came up in conversation. So that's always something to think back on fondly. So yeah, Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze, not great. Not the worst Turtles movie. We'll get to that. Um, that would be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3: Turtles in Time. Although it's not called Turtles in Time on Letterboxd, but I'm almost positive the UK title. Hang on a wee second. Yeah, I'm almost positive the UK title was Turtles in Time. Um, yeah, this is not a good movie. It's that bad that we actually, even though we had more or less decided as a family to kind of like do a Turtles movie marathon, um, this one is that bad that after about 10 minutes, I think we all just decided, yeah, let's just skip this one. We've all seen it before. We all know it's bad, so let's just skip it. So we did. Uh, Side quest story: about 31 years ago, I'm at the cinema and I'm wanting to go and see Jurassic Park for the sixth or seventh time. My dad refuses point blank to go to see Jurassic Park for a seventh time. So he says, pick something else, pick something else. So I chose Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3: Turtles in Time because that was also at the cinema at that time. So my dad and I went to see Turtles 3. It is what it is. Came out and he said, yeah, we should have just watched Jurassic Park again. So the moral of that story is Turtles 3 is rubbish, Jurassic Park is amazing. And moving on. Let's quickly jump into the comments. Vicky Goldie says, yeah, the kids love Turtles. Yes. Kids of all ages love Ninja Turtles. Right. So then the next day we continued the Ninja Turtles movie marathon with the Michael Bay produced live action, well, CGI Turtles, but live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We skipped the 2008 ish animated movie for reasons I can't remember. I think mainly because I didn't actually have a copy of it. It's so yeah, we skipped that one and went straight to the next one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 2014. Um, who directed this actually? Oh, Jonathan Liebesman. Liebesman. Did he do The Punisher with Thomas Jane? I think he might have done. Um, this one doesn't get a lot of love, but I actually quite enjoy the kind of the live action Turtles movies, both this one and Out of the Shadows. Uh, my son refers to these movies as the buff Turtles because the Turtles are quite jacked in this. Um, but yeah, even though Megan Fox is in this, she doesn't derail the movie. Will Arnett is in it. He's always a solid choice. Um, who's the bad guy? Oh, let me jump in this. Check again. What's his name? William Fitchner. He's in it as well as kind of the one of the main bad guys. He's always a good choice as well. So yeah, I've got a soft spot for this Turtles movie. It's like I said, it's definitely not the worst Turtles movie. It'll be it'll be difficult for any future Turtles movie to take that title away from Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time. So yeah, that was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. After that, we went to see Madam Web. Again, I think did all five of us go and see this? It might just have been the four of us. Um, but yeah, most of the family went to see this, and since I've started reviewing movies, just under a year ago, I think maybe 9 months ago, uh, this is the worst movie I've seen. This is the lowest score review that I've done since I've started reviewing movies. It's 1.5 here on Letterboxd. So I think that's three out of 10 is what I gave it in my review. In my review, which you can catch on the channel. I know everyone's piling on this movie, but there's a reason. It's bloody terrible. It's just yeah, it's just not good. It makes Morbius look like a good movie, whereas Morbius is at best a passable movie. This is just really bad. Not going. I won't go into too much detail. I've got a full review on that on the channel. Um, the only thing worth noting with this is we went to see it in 4DX, where the chairs move and like spray water at you and smoke comes in the screen and things like that. Uh, because again, that week Cineworld weren't charging anything extra for the 4DX uplift, so we um, we did that. That element of it was fun. Um, if it wasn't 4DX, it might have even got a lower rating. Yeah, Madam Web, terrible. Don't waste your time. Right, moving on. Renfield. Again, missed this one when it came out in the cinema last year, so managed to grab a copy of that to watch that. Um, it was as good as I thought it would be. Nicolas Cage doing Nicolas Cage. It's almost a tailor-made role for him in that because it was you know, if you need someone to kind of like give it their all and throw everything at the wall and see what sticks and ham it up and just swing for the fences, why not get Nicolas Cage to play a version of Dracula? Nicholas Holt is good in it as well. I think Aquafina is also in that. She's pretty good. She's pretty funny as well. Yeah, it was 3.5. I've given it on Letterboxd, so probably 7 out of 10 with the score. With the score for that would be, it was much gorier than I was expecting it to be, but like they play it for laughs. And like I said, if ever there was a role that like required an over the top Cage style performance, um, you know, it was this. So that was quite good. Let's see. Then there's a good week or so where I don't think I managed to catch any movies. It was a busy week work wise. Um, but then we watched Angel Heart, which I hadn't seen in a long, long time. But I'd picked up the 4K steelbook not too long ago. One of those random like good deals you got on eBay when you just randomly see what's about to finish, and you get it for like £8 or something like that. So watch that. Um, it's an interesting one. I remember watching it as a kid, probably like when I was way too young to watch to watch a movie like Angel Heart. Um, Certain things just stick with you, like there you go. So like Robert De Niro's performance as Louis Cipher. Uh, I won't spoil anything if no one's actually seen the movie. I That stayed with me, even though I've only seen the movie maybe twice in my life. But De Niro kind of sitting there with the cane and the fingernails and doing the thing with the hard boiled egg, um, that stays with you. And it's they don't really make movies like this anymore. It's kind of like a like a film noir, private detective, rainy, sweaty, adult story. Um, Not sure what rating I would give this, but if you've never seen Angel Heart, it's don't look up, don't read up on it, don't check anything out of it. Just grab a copy and just go in cold. And it's yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. Right. Let's see what's next. So then the next day, again, this is something that I missed at the cinema um, when it came out. I'm going to be second. Have a wee eye. Yeah, something that I missed when it came out was the Pope's Exorcist, the Russell Crowe comedy horror. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. His accent, you kind of get used to it after 5 or 10 minutes, and it's no longer something you kind of like giggle at. You just kind of go with it. Um, it's not breaking any new ground. It's a fairly generic exorcism style story. Um, but it's nice to see, or at least it's interesting to see, like Russell Crowe. I think at this stage of his career, where he just doesn't give a, you know, about anything, and he's doing things that he wants to do, just for the heck of it. So that was interesting to see. Not as bad as I thought it would be. Probably give it five. Yeah, so 2.5 on Letterboxd. So 5 out of 10. It's yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And then the last movie this month so far that I've watched is Zero Dark 30. I saw this in the cinema when it first came out. I don't think I'd watched it since, but I'd picked up the Plain Archive steelbook release, and it's one of those ones where I was like, I want to watch that again. I want to watch that again because you just something about it just sticks with you. The the way it's like a slow build, and then the tension just kind of ratchets up and ratchets up and ratchets up and ratchets up, and then the last 30 minutes or so where they they do the assault on the compound where Bin Laden is. That's pretty masterful the way they do that. Um, it's I'm just thinking about it. What's Catherine Bigelow done like since that? Because that was Zero Dark 30 was 12 years ago. Um, what has she made since then? I can't actually think, but yeah, Zero Dark 30, pretty good, like procedural spy craft, modern war movie kind of. Um, Jessica Chastain's got like just like a powerhouse performance. Just battling through kind of everyone and anyone that's in her way to get what she wants. Um, there's a pre Guardians of the Galaxy Chris Pratt in it, but he's kind of doing his usual kind of like jokey shtick. Not knocking the guy because he's that do what you're good at and he's good at that. Joel Edgerton's in it. He's really good. Jason Clark, Kyle Chandler, um, uh, Mark Strong in a wig, Edgar Ramirez. There's lots of good people in this. Randomly, Scotland's own John Barrowman is is in that. But it's every time you see him in the movie, you're kind of it almost takes you out of it a little bit, which is a shame because you're like, why is John Barrowman and this doing that? So that kind of puts a smile on your face when you see that, but it does oddly take you out of the movie ever so slightly. But yeah, Zero Dark 30 was the last movie, I think. Let me just go back and check. Yeah, that was the last movie I've watched this year, not this year, this month. Let's see. So going to see June Part 2 tomorrow night, which is technically still February the 29th, but I wanted to get this live stream done before that because I'll probably do a full review on June Part 2 uh, on Friday or Saturday or at some point over the weekend. So looking forward to seeing that. And I think that's going to wrap everything up here. Let me just double check the comments if there's anything. Yes, you are right indeed, Victoria. Nicholas can do no wrong. Well, there's some odd choices there, but yeah, in general, I would say yeah, Nicholas Cage can do no wrong when he takes his face off. Let's see, anyone else? I think that catches us up on everything. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. If you have watched this and you've not subscribed, you can always hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video.